15th April 2016. I left Islam. In fact, I left faith for any religion whatsoever. I became an apostate. So it has been 2 years since I became an apostate. Pretty boy, come here. My life has become more colorful. My life definitely has become more colorful. Huh? What do you say, Fred? Pretty boy? Go back into water. Come on. Come on. Come on, boy. Come on. My mind was always competitive. Fred, come here. Trying to win over arguments with the people of other faiths all the time to prove that my religion was the true religion. Fred, come on! Freddy boy! Freddy boy, come on! Well, I got Fred, that's for sure. Big boy! Freddy! Fred! Don't go far! Don't go far! Freddy! Fred, I'm going now! Freddy, I'm going! He can be unruly sometimes. Freddy! He'll be missing me in a moment. It's quite windy here. Can you hear me, all? If you can, give me a thumbs up, please. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. My life has definitely become more colorful. Definitely. Now, come to think of it, what have I lost? Well, I lost respect from the vast number of Muslims who used to adore me for explaining verses, giving them apologetic arguments so that they could win over arguments with people of other faiths. I was going around the world and I was being respected by Muslims from Korea to Vancouver. Freddy boy! Sorry, I have to keep shouting for him. He's my boy, you know. If you remember, he was just 2 weeks old when I got him. No, 4 weeks. 4 weeks old. Ready? Why the fuck do you come? Those are the words which in fact opened up my eyes. Why the fuck do you come otherwise? If you don't want to respect the rules of this country, the culture of this country, if you want to force down your Sharia down the throat with swords in your hand, then why the fuck do you come otherwise? Fred, come here, boy. Come here. I'm going now. Look at him come. Ready? Boy. Ready? He doesn't want to lose my sight, that's for sure. Come here. Come here, boy. He's still only 18 months old, you know. He's not going anywhere. So, after doing that video, if you remember, it was soon after the Paris attack by Islamist terrorists, still being a Muslim preacher, I held out my phone and made this video. Why the fuck do you come? Right? So I started getting huge backlash from that. Muslims throwing abuses from all over the world for being so outspoken, explicit, explosive in my words against Muslims, fellow Muslims, even if they were derailed in their words. Why did I have to be so vocal? There were Muslim scholars, preachers, they were telling me in private, yes, brother, they're wrong, but why do you have to bring it out to the public? Freddie! Overwhelming majority of them were silent. They were, in fact, passively either approving or tolerating such attacks, because for some reason they had this view that Muslims were superior in every sense of the term. Freddy boy! Fred! Come back! Come back here now! Come back! Come back now! Right. So that stunned me. The Muslims who were teaching, who were learning Islam from me since the age of 16, because that was the age when I started preaching Islam. I've been to over 82 countries around the world. And I was debating all over the world. My friends who knew me for decades would be able to vouch for the fact that I was preaching Islam. I was debating with non-Muslims, scholars of other religions, attending seminars, giving lectures to philosophical societies. But suddenly, they all started alienating me for being so outspoken against such attacks. I found... Freddie, come back! Freddie! Freddie! Stop it now! Fred! Freddie! Fred! Sorry about that. Hey, Fred! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Quickly, get your dog off him!
Stop it, boy!
He's gonna get your teeth. Can you get your dog teeth?
Stupid boy! Why did you have to do that? Sorry. As I said, Fred can be unruly at times. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Fred can be a real naughty boy. That's it. Your punishment, you're on leash now. You're on leash. No more freedom for you. No more freedom for you. No more freedom for you. It's quite an exercise for me, that's for sure. Right. Hold on, Fred. That's it. Not gonna move now. Sorry, as I was saying, Fred can be unruly at times. So the Muslims, overwhelming majority, so-called peace-loving Muslims, were still throwing abuses at me when I was still a Muslim. Why? I was just wondering why. Because I was criticizing extremist Islamist groups like Jamaat Islami, trying to dig deep into a spread of terrorism, Islamist terrorism around the world, how they mixed up between Islamist terrorism, attacks on civilians, and those of atrocities in some parts of the world against Muslims. So they were all mixed up. So I was just wondering what was happening. So Muslims, they started teaching me real Islam after I had preached it for 35 years. And I can say that, hands down, Muslims were teaching me Islam after I had preached it for 35 years. The vulgarity, the foul mouth, the abuses, the threats, personal attacks, they started concocting stories against me, spreading lies, malicious lies against me. I couldn't believe what they were doing. I could not believe it. I'm a very resilient man and a very rational man. That's why they couldn't stop me, because I can be extremely, extremely stubborn. I can be extremely, extremely stubborn. And I was. They started making videos against me, asking, making women, Muslim women, wearing hijabs and all, making videos against me. And started a witch hunting campaign against me, created Facebook pages against me. In a matter of few days, over 100,000 of my followers on Facebook just simply vanished. They started threatening friends who were still on my followers list on Facebook, YouTube. They started making false allegations, initiated a campaign to attack my character, started spreading news on social media and online newspapers that how ugly I looked. How ugly I looked. They started making cartoons, setting monkeys next to my face, made caricature of my children, because one of my children has some special need. He's a special needs child. And they said this was a curse from Allah. They started making character allegations against my family members, against my mother, my sisters. Said I was doing all this for money. They started saying that I was doing all that to become British citizen. The same thing over and over and over and over again. The same sort of hammering. That you are mad, you are mad, you are mad, you are mad, you are mad. The same thing over and over and over again. You are a Christian Zionist poodle, you are a Christian Zionist poodle, you are a Christian Zionist poodle. Your mother is a whore, your mother is a whore. Your father is a bastard. Come to Bangladesh if you can. You want to get a British passport. All sorts of that. All sorts. I mean, if I was not such a resilient man, I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my mind. Because they say the same thing over and over again, calling me all kinds of names, because I had to tell the world the truth I knew, which many didn't know. How my all calculations added up. It all added up suddenly. All added up. How Quran was concocted. How Muhammad was spreading hate, because the source of all of that, the source of all that hate took me back to the sources of Islam, to the sources of Islam, the Quran, the Hadiths, the Seerah. I started revisiting Islam. I started revisiting Islam. And found out that you cannot even question Islam. You know, I read all that. It's not that I didn't. I knew all that. But somehow I would have found an excuse through my mental gymnastics to say, no, you know, like the Masjid Nawaz style, you know. No, there's nothing to this cultural thing, you know, all that shit. It was not true. Eventually, I found out it was not true. Then, out of, say, if anybody made a video against me, those videos will get 500,000 hit. And of the 500,000 hit, there will be like maybe 40,000 comments. Of the 40,000 comments, say 35,000 will call for my death. Those videos are still in circulation. Many of those the threats they were coming from America, they were coming from Portugal, they were coming from South Korea, they were coming from Middle East. You know, people who were living in the West were angry because I wanted terrorism, Islamist terrorism, to stop in the West. Amazing hypocrisy. Then I took the time, because I developed this hard skin, you know. I don't give a fuck about these abuses anymore. Then I slowly started reassessing the people who were in fact admiring me before. Who were they? Who were admiring me so far? Who were they? I started asking myself, who were they who were admiring me all my life for what I was doing, for preaching Islam? Who were they? Vast majority of them. Let's find out who were they. Vast majority of them. I found out vast majority of them, in fact, didn't know Islam. I found out vast majority of them, including Because I started for the first time, probably in the world. I was the first man to make it like a call-in program online, on YouTube, on Facebook, so that Muslims could call, or ex-Muslims could call, or people who were questioning their religions could call, of any religion, could call and ask me questions, could debate me. And I was broadcasting them, sometimes live, sometimes recorded. And I found out how ignorant they were, how ignorant they were about this cult called Islam. Even the muftis, the imams, the sheikhs, they didn't know really how to correlate the Quranic verses with the geopolitics of the time, or the lives of the Sahabas or companions of the time, like in a way I did. For example, where did Abu Huraira come from? Where did Salman Farsi come from? What time? When? Which year? What was his background? Why did he come to Muhammad? What changes happened in the Quranic verses at that time? Where were the Nestorian Christians were? Who was living in Muhammad's household? Where were they from? Why did they come to Mecca from, say, Petra? Why? So I can correlate those verses very well. So I found out the ordinary Islamic scholars, or even the well-known ones, didn't know fuck about it. Nothing. Zero. Newt. And my knowledge in comparative religion, because over the years, I was a debater, I was having regular debates with scholars of other faiths. It became easier for me to understand the anthropology of Islam. And in response, whenever I will be debunking their arguments, wherever I will be putting forward my argument, the only response I would get, if you go scroll down this video and read the comments in the comment boxes, you will see the Muslims, even here, the Muslims, vast number of them will be saying the same thing. You are mad. If you can translate, you will see they're saying in Bengali, you are mad, you are mad, you are mad, you are mad. You are a Christian, Zionist poodle, you're a Christian Zionist poodle, you are crazy, you are nutcase, your mother is a whore, they're all said. The same thing, what I'm saying. So you will say the same thing. Fred, stop it! The same thing over and over and over again. And they would say, sometimes they would say, if they were like, really, really sober, educated, sometimes they will say, okay, you have left Islam. Fred, stop it. Simmer down. No, it's okay. So sometimes they would say things like, no, it's okay, I'm here. No, it's okay. Okay. Here's Fred. So sometimes they would say, okay, you left Islam. Okay, you left it. Why do you have to speak against it? Well, I would say, these are basic things. Like if you're an ex-Christian, you would know this is quite simple thing. If you left a religion, you have the right to criticize it. And it is stupid to say, you'll be allowed to preach and I will not be able to challenge your preaching. Then I would say, why not? If you have the right to preach, why will I not have the right to challenge that preaching? Why not? These are very simple arguments. Probably you, if you're a person from the West, you would have answered to, but they would not. Why? Because their parents always stopped them from questioning. My mom never liked me that much since my childhood, because my mother would always face questions from me. Always face questions about anything, she would say. I would say, why? Give me a reason. Why? So my understanding of Islam was always through analytical mind, with an analytical mind. I would not just simply memorize. I will always, because I used to debate since the age of 16. So I always had to engage my analytical mind in a way. Muslims would not know, vast majority, not like a fringe few, like the British media and other media would tell you that a fringe few of them are terrorists. No. If fringe few of them are terrorists, vast majority of them are silently approving of it by not saying anything or by not engaging in dialogues and debates like in a civilized manner. And if I say anything, they will say, why are you insulting my religion? And I would say, what constitutes Islam? Insult. Why shouldn't I be able to insult or offend you regarding your view? Why will you take it personally? If I am not allowed to challenge an ideology, then the society will lose the door, the window to stop infiltration of evil ideologies. So why will I not be able to offend you for your views? You have to accept it. If your religion is true, if what you are saying is true, and then your God is true, you should be able to either show you are the most tolerant man, or you should be able to withstand your point with arguments. You don't lose your temper. You will not be throwing abuses, even if I am not being disrespectful to your religion. Say, if I'm disrespectful to your religion, still you will not lose your temper. But that doesn't happen in Muslim community. It does not happen. And I also found out vast number of them who were defending Islam online. I don't know whether you believe it or not. You just go and check their accounts. Try YouTube. In Bangladeshi community YouTube channels, you will see Bangladeshis who are throwing abuses at me on YouTube. You will see vast number of them are, I don't know why, but addicted to pornography. Freddie, stop it. Vast number of them are addicted to pornography. So I wanted to prove that all organized religions were wrong and Islam was barbaric, filthy, baseless, and Muhammad was an evil man. I found out about his character, his, the stories I knew, for fuck's sake, the stories I knew like the back of my hand. How Muhammad married Khadija, how he wanted to divorce his wife Sauda because she was growing old, how Muhammad had married Aisha who was, 6, and then he had sex with her when she was 9. How the hell was I not paying fucking attention? But this gave me immense acumen, knowledge, wisdom, inside understanding of how Islamist politics worked around the world, how the communities are connected. Because I was, in a way, insider to dig deep, because I was a preacher after all. I debated head of Bangladesh Bible Society. I debated Michael Nugent, who is the president of Atheist Ireland. I would go around the world for Islam. So they were afraid of it because I knew too much. And I knew all of their apologetic bullshit. So they considered me as a danger. Still do. I'm probably the most, to their understanding, most dangerous ex-Muslim there is. Because I just simply was not just a simple scholar. Hi. I was not simply just someone who was preaching it, but I was someone who was passionate about it. Passionate. I was passionate about the religion. So they've considered me dangerous, still do. I'm probably the most, to their understanding, most dangerous ex-Muslim there is. Because I just simply was not just a simple scholar. Hi. I was not simply just someone who was preaching it, but I was someone who was passionate about it. Passionate. I was passionate about the religion. So But I was resilient. They used everything they could come up with. They took my wife against me. She has started blackmailing me with my child, that I won't be able to see my son. And she left me with nothing. Still, I didn't give up my mission. Because then I found out, hey, it is from Islam as well, because Muhammad stopped his own daughter from seeing her husband until he had converted to Islam. It was all, but you feel it, you realize it when you become a victim of it. If you are a Muslim, you don't know the real face of Islam unless and until you start questioning it. So everything I was questioning, anything I was questioning, they would say, you are insulting my religion. If you question, is it mandatory for Islam? Oh, to wear beard? Okay, I don't think it's mandatory. It's not necessary. They will start abusing you. If you say, you know what, it's not right that women have to cover their hair, they will start abusing you, insulting you. They will start calling your mother a whore. They will say, okay, if I see your wife next time, I will fuck her. Those kinds of things. Because our television star in Bangladesh, Musharraf Karim, said quite similar to that you have to respect, you have to have the heart to respect women, and just asking women to dress up in a certain manner is not the only solution. His wife became a target of abuses from vast majority of Muslims, not just simply fringe few, which the Western media tells us. So it is a lie, blatant lie. When 80% of Bangladeshis believe in Sharia, knowingly or unknowingly. I say unknowingly because vast majority of them never even read the hadiths, even the Quran. So they say, oh, it's from Allah, Allah's rule. Oh, yes, I want it. They will wear a beard, they will be offering prayers 5 times, but they don't understand a fuck about it. So what do they do? Whenever somebody says, okay, Mufassil Islam left Islam, he questioning Allah, Allah's rule, his Quran says, you have to do this, and Hadith says you have to kill him. And they will say, oh, really? You have to kill him? Is it in the Hadith? They'll say, yes. They'll say, well, at least I'll keep my mouth shut. And with that excuse, Islamists will continue against you. So what have I gained? I have gained respect from vast majority, overwhelming majority of Western people, educated people, even the educated mass from Bangladesh, people who were beyond my wildest imaginations. They were apostates, like university vice chancellors, head of hospitals, famous lawyers, famous politicians, famous film stars. They would come up in confidence with me and say, brother, you are saying things which I could never do. They were like Islamic scholars who were famous Islamic scholars in the West, Muslim scholars. Even they said, brother, I'm trying my best to help the British government or European government or Western government by giving them a fair understanding of how it's all working. But I cannot expose myself because I will lose everything. Then I was the first man to debate, as an ex-Muslim preacher, the first man to debate a internationally well-known Islamic scholar like Dr. Umar al-Qadri, face to face in front of an audience, because the subject was punishment of apostasy, in Islam and all. And Islam was unmasked. Because I can speak a few languages and I tried everything. But I also found out that I must not look for respect from Muslims primarily, because I have to tell them the truth. I will offend them, they will get hurt, they will become angry, they will try to kill me. But eventually there will come a time in a day or in a month when they will start thinking, why am I so angry with Mufassil? Did he tell the truth? Let's check it out. And they will become restless. Their mind will become restless, and they will start leaving Islam in droves. That is what is happening. Many of the ex-Muslims now coming forward and telling me, Mufassil, left it, brother. I'm sorry, I hurled abuses at you before. And to my calculation, at least over 20,000 people I've been able to take out from Islam. At least 20,000 of them, I've got them out of Islam. And all from other faiths as well, but vast majority of them are Muslims, ex-Muslims. And I saw that vast majority of people who were hurling abuses at me were brainwashed from Saudi Arabia. Vast majority of them were living in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and around that area. They were Bangladeshi migrant workers. Or they had some connections with the Middle East. Or they were educated in the Middle East. And they would love to become Arabians rather than remaining Bengalis, or Pakistanis, or Indians. And all of them were hateful against people of other faiths. Because the Quran, they were being introduced to the real face of Islam, where Islam says all the people of all other faiths are worst creatures on the face of the earth. Surah 98, verse 6. Muslims are the best, verse 7 of the same surah. And non-Muslims will never get peace. And they were hurling abuses to Christians and Jews on Surah number 1, Surah Fatiha, and the last verses. And it was not a happy moment for me, trust me. If Islam was true, I would have been the happiest man. I would have been the happiest man. But unfortunately, I found out it was not a happy moment for me when I left it. It was not a happy moment. If you can see my video, which I posted 2 years ago, declaring my apostasy, it was not a happy moment. I can tell you that. I was almost in tears. It seems that you found out the person you loved, in fact, all your life was not the person who was loving you. She was faking it. And vast majority of Muslims are unfortunately illiterate. And the education system in countries like Bangladesh, you just have to memorize. There's no engagement of analytical mind. So they don't know how to use the analytical mind. Unfortunately, that's the truth. My own mother told me, yeah, Aisha had sex with Muhammad at the age of 9, but that was from Allah's instruction. So what? Accept it. Accept. Don't follow. You don't have to accept the entire Quran, but at least accept Allah, accept Muhammad. Those kind of stuff. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak to me. And my mother, when I'm a heart patient, as you know, Muslims were praying day and night, death to Mufassil. Why doesn't he have a heart attack? I mean, they think if with my death, that will be end of me. That's what they think from the bottom of their heart. That's kind of illiterate thinking, because vast majority of them are illiterate, politically charged, emotionally charged with deprivation, poverty. Vast majority of them. So I started ignoring their comments, because if I wanted to win their love, I have to start thinking like an illiterate man. I have to kill my analytical mind to expect love and respect from those people. And I formed the Boba movement around the world. I have united many ex-Muslims together, many ex-religious people together. And they're not alone anymore, because I could see they were alone. I'm not looking for any international awards. I'm not looking for any glories. But I have been able to give them a life, a community, where they can see they are not alone anymore. It doesn't have to be ex-Muslims. It can be ex-Christians, ex-Hindus, or even liberal Muslims, if there is one. Because my Boba is open for even those who can say, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Jew, but I can tolerate strongest criticisms, and I will not lose my respect for you. So what have I lost? I lost the touch of my child, who used to come to me. I used to walk him by the sea. I used to watch children's movies with him. Fred has lost his friend because my son used to play with him, if you remember. I've lost total freedom in my professional life because I can't be expected to sit. Because I do get jobs, great jobs. You know, sometimes I join, but soon I have to leave because there's a huge risk in sitting down in a particular office for a particular period of time because I'm a target. So what have I gained? I have gained many more friends, and they're from all walks of life. And they're more intelligent than people I used to call my friends. Because I could see most intelligent people, smartest people of the world rejected Islam. Rejected it. Because it's a fascist political movement. I have lost my Bengali community. I have lost my Muslim brothers, whom I still love, even though they keep on hurling abuses at me every minute. I still love them because I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for their ignorance. I feel sorry for the nature they have. I feel sorry. But I'm taking huge risk in my life to save them from where they are. I'm not looking for glories during my lifetime. I have made great friends who love me for what I'm doing. Suddenly I don't feel non-Muslims are any different. And my Muslim brothers and sisters are somehow closer to me. I don't feel that anymore. I feel like the whole world is mine. I look at a white people's face and I think they are as human as I am. People, non-Muslims, even Western people sometimes look at me with suspicion, thinking, hey man, that's a tan man. I'm sorry, but there are people like that. Tan man, he looks like a Muslim. Oh, I don't believe it, he is engaged in taqiyya. But they would not understand who on earth would take such a fucking risk like I have. Who would lose everything? I come from an affluent family. Who would lose the chance of getting his properties in Bangladesh back? Because my father died and I have properties there. Millions of pounds of worth of property and I cannot go and get it. Who would lose his freedom? Who would lose his family? Who would lose his country? Who would lose everything for what amount of money? For what evil purpose? Will Muslims ever forgive me if I was engaging taqiyya? Because Quran says you cannot do that. You will have no forgiveness if you speak out against Islam. So those people who talk about taqiyya don't know this. The Quran says explicitly that if you leave Islam and speak out against it, there is no forgiveness. Period. So, there are things I told Muslims. I gained immense respect from people who love me to bits for telling them things they never knew being a Muslim all their lives. For example, Muhammad was poisoned to death. He couldn't help himself. Muhammad had 9 wives. Some say even, in some calculation even more. He had 4 concubines. He took gifts, slaves, and Quran permitted sex with slaves. Quran permitted rape of war booties. I was telling them things they never knew before. So what have I gained? I have gained freedom at heart. I've gained freedom at heart. That's what I've gained. I've gained respect from educated mass. And I don't care for respect from even 22% of global community, 23%. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn anymore. Fred, let's go. Let's go, boy. We're going home now. Okay, I'm gonna watch a movie, Fred. Fred. Wait. Need to go. Go home, boy. Wait. Whoa. Fred. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Going home time. Getting dark now, boy. And you see, Fred is a lovely dog. If I were still a Muslim, I would have hated him, because it is very common for Muslims to call you a dog, because they hate dogs. Because Muhammad was the man who carried out dog genocide in human history. And they will tell me to change my name, when the word Islam, in fact, predates Islam itself. Even everything, there are marks of theft in Islam in every aspect. They will say, cut off the hands of a thief, but at the same time, hi. But at the same time, Muhammad stole from Bible. Muhammad stole from Bible. Like Jesus used to say, Shalom, or peace be unto you. And Islam stole it. Quran stole it. And when I say now, Assalamu alaikum, when I say Assalamu alaikum, they say, hey, you're not a Muslim, why do you say that? But I said, come on, that predates Islam. And then if I say Inshallah, or God willing, they say, hey, that's Islamic, why do you say that? I said, no, it's not, because it is in the Bible. That predates even Quran. So there are marks of theft in Islam in every aspect. So if anybody's hand had to be chopped off, it was Muhammad's, because he was a thief. And except 3 of his battles, in all the battles that Muhammad engaged in, he and his people were the attackers, and they were ethnically cleansing communities. He slaughtered people. The very people who had sheltered him took him in as a refugee. He uprooted tribes after tribes of Jewish people. And turned them into laborers in their own fields stole their women, raped their women, distributing their women. What was I doing all my life? What was I doing? Fred, stop it. What was I doing all my life? And I am now in the process of undoing what I have done. I'm living from hand to mouth, and this spread that I'm taking money from the Jews and the Christians, where many of the Christians love me for what I'm doing. They're my friends, they don't expect me to convert, but many of them would not give me a second call because I didn't convert to Islam. Because many of them would say, have you converted to Christianity? I said, no, because I find that absurd as well. But it's true as well that since I left Islam, I debated Christian pastors sitting inside the church. And they would not insult me. And I took out many Christians out of Christianity as well. But they don't hate me for that. So, what I have gained? I've gained my life. I have gained freedom. What else do I need? I now can say, I don't know why I exist, but it's definitely not a life which I will spend worshipping a baseless barbarian. And I don't need, and I don't need, and I don't need, I say it again, I don't respect from a community where a vast number of illiterate barbarians rule, because Bangladesh is a land of the barbarians. Fred, stop it! What is this? What the hell? Why, Fred? Right. Okay. Take care, my friends. Bye.